If it'll just go. What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Shabbat, don't you cry. Go to sleep, you little baby. When you wake, you shall have all the pretty little horses. Way down yonder, covered in the leaves, sweet little baby crying mama. Birds and the butterflies flutter around his eyes, sweetest baby crying mama. Dapples and grays, pintos and bays, all the pretty little horses.
Lullaby, dry your eyes, rest your head, you tired baby. You shall have all you dream and all the pretty little horses.
Wide awake by the stream, tired little baby crying dead. Mist from the rippling, hear that water sing. Go to sleep, you tired baby. Dapples and grays, pintos and bays, all the pretty little horses. Shabbat, don't you cry. Go to sleep, you little baby.
Oh.
When you wake, you shall have all the pretty little horses.
It was beautiful.
Oh, wow.
I
So,
could hear you singing that, Whimsy.
oh, you always say sweet things like
Oh, it's true. That would suit your voice very well.
Oh, really?
Yes, it would. I think most people here would agree to that.
Yeah.
But what a beautiful selection.
That was the Hound and the Fox performing Hushabye, All the Little Horses. Do you want to tell the audience why we played that particular song?
Well, today is the start of the Chinese New Year. I read somewhere online that we should wear red today to start the year, so I dug out this t-shirt. But it is the official launch of the year of the fire horse.
It is.
Giddy up, giddy up. Things are going to speed up. Things are going to intensify. Many of us are being called to action, to focus, to organize, and keep up with the pace of this year.
Have you been studying the Chinese astrology at all?
Not to the extent that you have. In fact, you're the one who educated me to this. You told me that I am a metal rat, and this might be a challenging year.
It's either kicking you or you're kicking it.
Either way. But you said as long as I'm super organized, I work really hard, this could be quite a big year for me. If I am not super organized and I don't work as hard as I should, this year could shall we say, kick my butt. So I'm going to give it my all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that type of a year, and, also it's the time of year when we talk about our intention.
Yes.
What is your intention? I had a session, I had a medical, session today. I had a client come in for an intuitive session, and, excuse me, I always like to do the Vedic chart on my patients. I wanna know what's
Yeah.
going on with them, from a Vedic perspective, and then we build treatment plans and stuff, but
Mhm.
you know what the Vedas said for her about this year?
What did they say?
It said, "Your word or the thing to meditate on is balance."
Mm.
And it doesn't seem like that would be something we would think about. A lot of the time we just
It's
wanna go.
critical.
Yeah, so going too aggressively against this kind of energy could in and of itself be, unhealthy
Well,
rather than balance.
yeah. Well, we both certainly know what that can do to one's health, what it can do to your adrenals, your immune system, even your emotional, psychological health. I tend to get out of balance because I get overly ambitious. I can be a little bit of a type A person. As you said, when
Wow.
I'm passionate about something, I will go, 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 go
Mhm.
to where it starts to become to my detriment. I think that's true for any of us. So I love that you said that
Yeah, well,
about
she had a
balance.
lot of Virgo in her. She had a lot of Virgo in her chart, and she had Virgo in Venus, so she wanted the perfect love, the perfect everything. She had this kind of
Mhm,
discipline,
mhm.
um, and I thought that was really wiser than anything I could have come up with because my personality also is trying fight harder and make it better.
Mhm,
It's a fire horse. We're gonna kick ass, and
mhm.
w
That's been my attitude.
yeah, and the Veda's response was, because the energy is like that this year, seek balance.
Yeah, like, at
Yeah.
times, maybe we're meant to be the counterbalance to all of that, to be the calm in the storm, so to speak.
Yes.
And, I was actually surprised because today is the launch of the Fire Horse year. I
Uh-huh.
was expecting to wake up and was gonna be all intense and everything. No, today has been a very calm, peaceful day. Like, we started off, we pre-recorded an interview for next week,
Mhm.
and
Oh, no,
I
it's
have
this it's after the show today.
Oh, it's today. I thought it was next week. Okay, my goof there. But it was a lovely way to start the day. And I find all day I have just felt very centered, calm, balanced. And I wasn't expecting to feel that way today.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Chuck, would you do the honors of saying hi to everyone who's gracious enough to join us today for Taco Tuesday? Tell us where you're coming from, and be
Well,
sure to tell Chuck and I what you're drinking and, how the weather is in your part of the world. Boy, I hear we're going through another
I'm
cold.
drinking water and
I
it's
am
raining where I am here
I'm
in
having
Los Angeles.
PG tips with a little bit of milk.
Oh, you're doing better than me. But anyway, it is my honor to do this. So, first of all, we have our wonderful Joel Tilson here, our floor director,
I
already peppering us with questions and comments. Joel, you're so wonderful at doing this. And we have, oh, hi, intuitive Kathy. And let me scroll past here a little further. Brenda Rakestraw. Um, we have Sally Joe, 4267. I'm still waiting on my contact lenses to come in, so excuse these glasses. Let's see. We have Tarot by Sharona, 262, Rockin' Pony Lady.
Hi, Rockin' Buddy.
Hey, we have, let's see if I can, my vision is not the greatest here. Does that say Pamo Blacks 819? I apologize, my eyes are not the best right now. Let's see, we have Paula Faust, 5322. We have April Bradley, 2091. I don't know whether to read the numbers or not. Jess,
Oh my goodness.
Miss
I just saw that tempura shrimp that Joel Tilson's having.
Oh,
I tried your Popeyes chicken. I was looking for fried chicken. I tried Popeyes chicken. Not a I'm not impressed. But, I'm trying I shouldn't be doing fried chicken at all, but I thought, "What the heck? I'll do it." Tried that.
once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, I've been eating so well. I've been doing mostly vegetarian,
Mm-hmm.
and
I've been doing so also.
Had my morning smoothie, and then today I topped it off with some Popeyes.
Well,
So
come on, you
there's
gotta.
some balance, right? There's
That's some
balance.
balance. That's a way of putting it.
It was okay.
It's okay.
Nothing to write home about. So, Chuck, have you
Mhm.
been watching the news at all? We have a passing. I don't know if you're aware of the fact that
Yes.
Jesse Jackson has passed. Do you have
Mhm.
anything you'd like to say about
Well, a
that?
great man, a pioneer of civil rights, a Baptist minister, a two-time U.S. presidential candidate who rose to national prominence alongside Martin Luther King in the 1960s. He was the founder of the Rainbow Push Coalition. He
Yeah,
championed economic justice, voting rights, and political empowerment for marginalized communities. And he remained a moral voice in American public life. And he urged the nation to expand the promise of equality for all. Great, great
right.
man. Yeah.
Did you did you watch much of his career over time? Were you into?
Over time,
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember him when he was running for president. I know that Bill Clinton considered him a spiritual advisor. Barack Obama said that he laid the foundation for his own presidential campaign. And
Mhm.
I didn't know this today. I was reading that he was there when Martin Luther King was assassinated. He was only
Yes.
26 years old at the time.
There's actually a photograph of him that standing next to Reverend King, Dr. King, when he passed.
My goodness. My
Yeah.
goodness. But what a life. And I saw his daughter being interviewed today on the news, and she said, he told her, look, I'm not going to have much money to leave you because most of my money has gone for my causes. But what I will give you is a rich life. And she said he most certainly did that. She said he also made himself a strong presence in her life. She said there was literally not a day where she did not talk to him. He was always there for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to give our condolences, send our love
We
and
do.
respect to all of the Jackson family.
Yes,
And we want to recognize his great contribution to the country.
most
Yeah.
definitely.
The day that I remember most is that day he cries as Obama receives
Yes.
nomination as
Yes.
44th president of the United States. That really, I think, is a
That was
historical moment. It's a moment in our nation's history where, I just felt like a great healing had come to the nation. And he embodied that. He was the face of that for all of us.
Very much the face of that.
Wow.
I
Well,
mean, this is somebody who made a great mark on the world, used his gifts for the higher good.
and he will be missed a great deal by all
Very
of us.
much so.
Yeah. Thank you for your service to our country. That's what we always like to say, right?
That's what we love to be able to say.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is in the news right now, as many of you know, huge controversies with Stephen Colbert.
Mhm.
Chuck, you were the one that brought a little bit of attention to this. Can you speak to us a little bit about what's going on with Stephen
Well,
Colbert?
yeah. In fact, I even watched the interview with James Tallarico on YouTube just a few minutes before we went on the air. But he was forbidden by CBS and also by I think by the FCC, by Brendan Carr, who was in the pocket of Trump, frankly, to not do that interview with Tallarico. There was already a lot of controversy around him because of an appearance he made on The View earlier. Yeah, and Stephen Colbert basically said, well, what did he say? He said CBS lawyers advised the Late Show that it could not air the interview in no uncertain terms. And Colbert said, then I was told in some uncertain terms, not only could I not have him on, I could not mention him. Me not having him on, and because of my network clearly doesn't want us to talk about this, So let's talk about this.
Mhm.
And so when I watched the interview on YouTube, I thought, yeah, this was actually more defiant and more frank conversation than it possibly could have been had it been on CBS, on the actual show. And what CBS and Brendan Carr did was basically call more attention to it, because this interview is now going viral all over the internet.
And how nervous do you think we all should be about what CBS has done? Because I can tell you, this scares the hell out of me.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons Colbert was so defiant, because he knew the gravity of this situation. You know, this is very much affecting freedom of speech, our civil rights. It's uncalled for censorship. And of course, a lot of this allegedly goes back to that deal with Paramount Plus, CBS, and is it Skyworld? I'm so sorry if I'm getting the name of that wrong. But anyway, it was that merger, and Trump had a financial stake in that. And even though this was never the official reason was because the Late Show was losing a lot of revenue. Many believe the truth is Trump wanted Colbert fired and pulled off the air. And they certainly did not want James Tallarico on, because he's in a position right now. You know, what office? He's running for office in Texas right now. I'm trying to think, what is
Texas
it?
Senate, I thought.
Texas Senate. Thank you. And one of the things he said in the interview, one of the first things he said was, well, I think Trump is afraid Texas is going to be flipped. And that's why he wanted to stop this interview.
I think that's absolutely true. If you look at the demographics on Texas, there's a real good chance that Texas is going to be flipped.
Oh, very good chance. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what I think we should do, Chucky Poo?
What should we do?
I think that we should do the empath prayer and start doing some blitzing away. What do y'all think about that?
I think we should.
And would you like to tell the audience about what's coming up later today? A little bit about.
Oh, yes. Where did I? Oh, good. I do have my book here, Rainbow Weather. We pre-recorded the interview this morning with the wonderful author Kat Cook. That's how her name is.
Who I kept calling Kook. And Kook.
She corrected us. It's Kat Cook. That's how her name is pronounced. She lives in South Africa, 10 hours away. So it was necessary to pre-record the interview this morning. We did it from our end, 10 a.m. today. And it was I thought it was a fabulous interview. I adored Kat. I particularly loved when she read from her book, because the energy from her voice was just the same energy I felt when I was reading this. Because, Whimsy, didn't you feel like you were just vicariously there with her?
Yes. I had so much empathy for the author as she talked about adapting to life in West Cork that I found myself at times frightened, sensitive, nervous, awkward, because you're going into this ancient history that has all this tradition.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great interview, and I think the audience is really going to enjoy it.
I had a lot of fun today.
Right. And it'll be at 6:00 tonight after this show. Yes. So I'm very excited.
Please watch.
Yeah. So I think what we'll do now is we will do the empath's prayer. For those people who don't know, we're going to do some blitzes. Those are 3 to 5 minute quick questions that you may have as we blitz away. Oh, one more thing that people had asked, if we could briefly talk about any updates in the Nancy Guthrie. We had forgotten to mention that.
Yeah.
Well, the glove that they found 2 miles away, it doesn't surprise me that it was. It's probably not related to this case.
No, they said that. They said it. Yeah. I think they determined it was male DNA, but in this massive database that we have, I don't know who has this database, but it's like millions and millions, and they said it didn't match anything.
I don't think it was that person's glove. I think it was just random gloves they found 2 miles away.
I think so too. And it didn't match any of the DNA from the Guthrie family. So
no, the Guthrie family's been cleared. They're not involved.
Oh yeah, but I remember they just said that on the news today.
Right.
They reiterated that point.
So how it feels to me, what I can say on this subject, just as a remote viewer, is here is how I feel. I feel that there's a lot of heat on that house. I feel that the police have a pretty good idea who did it. I
Mhm.
think that there's heat. I think there's questioning. I think they may have been brought in for questioning. I think they were basically tagged and released. I think their phones are being tapped. I think the
Mhm.
house is being watched. I think the perps know that, and I think it must be absolutely terrifying. I think
Mhm.
they're also being separated out. I think there's about 3
Mhm.
of them, and I think that they're being separated out. Now, in the case of Daly, the other thing that I picked up was that this individual had a brother. I felt when
Yeah.
I was them, I had a brother next to me. What's interesting is that you have the Daly brothers, Luke Daly and Matthew Daly, who were swatted a couple days ago, and
Mhm.
both have criminal records that include burglary, selling drugs, etc., in the
Mhm.
area. So they would meet the profile of what I had picked up when I had done the remotes. And the thing that freaked me out was just how much the the brother looked like whoever was in that
Yeah.
the image of the person. Did you get a chance to take a look at the video I did earlier?
I didn't see it, Whimsy. I'm sorry. But
Yes.
I know you've talked about this before. I've seen some of your other videos where you've discussed this. Was this your most recent one?
Yeah, so the person who was driving the vehicle that was stopped the other day is this gentleman.
Mm.
And this is Luke Daly. We want to be really careful not to accuse anybody of
Right,
anything,
of course.
but he is the number one suspect at this time. I think that if he is guilty, it must be terrifying to be him right now because he can't leave town. The police are
Right.
watching his home. His brother's been questioned.
Mhm.
His girlfriend is arrested and sitting in a jail cell for God knows what. I think she broke her probation. She had a criminal record also.
Mhm.
So it feels to me that if these people are involved, they've been separated. He's been separated from his girlfriend, who's now in jail, who's being questioned. The cops are sitting outside his house. The feds are running DNA on his truck. They're
Yeah.
looking at whoever had the holster. And it just seemed, and those eyes that are looking back at you in this picture, the goatee. This is an unaltered. This is from his Facebook pages, by the way. I went to his
Yeah.
Facebook pages.
Yeah. In fact, how closely does this picture match that photo we ran a week or two ago? You know, where it was taken from the surveillance camera and artificial intelligence generated a face based on the contours under the mask and what you could see, like a little bit of facial hair, the eyebrows, the eyes. How
It
does it?
according to what people are saying, it's the closest match, and I asked Grok, and Grok said he remains the number one suspect
Yeah.
because the eyes match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here you have the eyes, those beautiful sweeping eyebrows, blue eyes, which, it's interesting because Grok had said that Grok had felt this individual may have lighter eyes, and
Yeah.
people were going with very stereotypical Mexican features.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a bit of a stereotype. I don't
Possible.
know, and
Possible.
didn't expect to have these beautiful blue eyes looking back at you.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. That could very well be the case. I told you all along, I've just had this intuitive feeling that these were like quote unquote amateurs, people way over their heads. Like they had no idea what they were getting themselves into when they did this. And
Mhm.
so you're right, they're probably just terrified. I also saw in the news that they're trying to pick up apparently a signal from her pacemaker. And they said
Yes.
even satellites can pick up on things like this. So far, they haven't
They're in
gotten.
so much trouble, and I think if
Yeah.
it is those people that they raided where his brother Matthew and mother were questioned, and they were swabbing the truck, something just tells me these guys are in deep trouble and they're
Mhm.
somehow involved. And
Mhm.
then when I saw that picture, I was just like, you can't go by instincts alone. You've got to go with data.
Absolutely.
So,
It's a checks and balance.
right. But I just, there's that feeling you get when it's just like, I feel like I'm right over that because I had done the profile previously. I just feel like if it's not them, it's somebody damn similar. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's close enough.
Yeah. And the other thing I got was that it was a troubled household, that it was the household where scary people came and went, the cops were there periodically, and that these were people that we are trouble and we're constantly getting into trouble.
Yeah.
So it had that kind of aspect to it as well. So we'll just see. I have a feeling if I'm right, we'll know in the next couple of days.
Really, that soon? Within the next couple of days? You feel?
I think so, because if they did catch and release, which is a technique they do where they will just wait until they freak out from stress and start picking up phone and talking. Meanwhile, everything is being monitored. So you're free to go now because they're tagged. Their vehicles are tagged. They're tagged. Their DNA, so it has a feeling to it like that, and it has a feeling for me that I have not left the area, that the feds are right on top of me, and the stress and the fear that they're going to get me at any moment and they're right over me. And so when I hear about these TMZ letters, it wasn't me, but I know who did it. Give me $50,000 so I can get the hell out of here. It feels to me like the person that's writing those TMZ notes is actually the perpetrator. And he's doing like a Donald Trump. I'm protecting my friends. Honey, you have no friends. You're protecting yourself. It has that aspect too. So whoever this TMZ, just give me $15,000. I need my freedom. I can't go to the cops because I have a past rap sheet for things like burglary. Really? You do you? It goes right back to that remote I keep having about local punks, amateurs, got in trouble. I have a brother. We were born. So I'm just curious about how it's going to play itself out. That's all.
Yeah.
We
can only hope and pray for Nancy and for the Guthrie family.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. We'll do the empath prayer. If you'd like to receive a healing at this time, go ahead and give us your name or the name of the person that you would like us to pray for, and we can include them in our prayers as we bring in the empath prayer. And then we will blitz, blitz, blitz away.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of you who are requesting a healing today, we come together as a collective, as a community, and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, collectively, we say, Amen. 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 May all souls be healed.
May all souls be healed.
There you go. May all souls be healed. Okay. Well, gosh darn it. Let's go ahead. Let's see what the questions are. And let's start.
Okay. What are the questions
here? I'm excited. We have no idea what's coming. Let's see here. All right. We're going to go back to the top here. All right. First out of the gate, Joel says, Iran is on lockdown and demonstrations are being shot today. And demonstrators are being shot today. Iran's military on high alert. Is Trump a taco? Taco Trump? Is that what we're talking about? Are we talking about taco Trump? Trump always chickens out. The people of Iran are screaming for help. They can't continue to hold off this psychopath. People are being murdered in prisons. What do you think? Is Trump finally going to do something? Are we finally intervention here?
As far as
get behind this, to be honest.
What's going on in Iran right now? I was reading today the United States is massively conducting a military buildup in the Middle East to pressure Iran. during the nuclear negotiations in Geneva and to prepare for potentially weeks-long combat operations. But as far as Trump, I don't know. What are we asking about Trump here?
I don't think we have a choice. I think that trying to negotiate with psychopaths. Now he's doing what he criticized Obama for. Obama didn't want to go to war. Remember, he tried to pay them not to kill people. And then how many people have died so far? You can't make deals with Nazis. And these people are like Nazis. Can't. Joel writes further, 2 carrier groups are in the Middle East with the U.S. troops on the ground to protect Arab nations in the event of war. Dang, buddy. Freaking Firehorse came in today. And let's talk about that. Chuck, how do you think the energy of 2026 is playing out in terms of risk for war? Given that we are entering into astrologically to volatile times.
Well, you just said the word right there, volatile times. That's just what I was about to say. It's feeling like fiery conflict, to volatility. It's, the horse is about galloping forward to instigate whatever needs to be instigated.
Yeah, so Fire Horse, Fire of Wands, the Knight of Wands also corresponds to the Wood Horse, by the way. It's rapid, fiery movement, and it's look, it's not the Metal Horse. It's not heartless and ruthless. I mean, but it's really fire and passion.
Passion. You said it before me. Yeah.
Okay, let's check. Let's see what we pick up. Anything new that we pick up about? I don't think that we can get out of it personally, but let's see.
You know what? It was interesting for me. A card that jumped out was, this is all about balancing.
Yeah.
And you talked about that at the beginning of the show as part of what the Fire Horse is about. It's not just about all this fiery rage and passion and, destroying whatever's in front of you. It's about balance. And I found it very interesting that this card came up. And I also got, there's a real sense of purpose here. It's obvious a lot of competition amongst sides. Inevitably loss is going to take place, but it's necessary for there to be new beginnings. But I think the key card I got was balance. So I don't know how that ties in with what you got, Whimsy.
I got that negotiations will fail because you have the 6 of Cups, which is a peace treaty, right? Take the flowers. Let's go back to the good old days. And then you have major death and transformation. We cannot go back to where we were in Iran. Iran keeps saying, back off and stop the war. Stop saying that you're going to take us out. Like everybody knows about the phases. Putin said the same thing. Stop talking about the fact that you're going to take me out. Phases 4 and 5, right? Everybody, the whole globe now has the math that, well, according to the data, if we want to save lives, we're going to have to take out Putin and Iranian leadership, right? So the whole world now knows that. The whole world knows what you have to put yourself in the shoes of Russia and Iran at this time. If you were them, how would you feel about the fact that a document like this was running around for the last 2.5 years, and it was basically an open secret that they're coming for you and you have no future? So we have to kind of try and, to the best of our ability, to put ourselves in the shoes of what it is to be the enemy. And right now, to be the enemy, you're terrified when you're looking at this data that's coming out from Western intelligence, and you know that they've been planning and plotting to take you out for years. Because the data shows you can't have peace and have a lunatic like Putin in power, and you can't have peace and have a lunatic like the supreme leader in Iran. So,
or frankly, a lunatic in this country.
Yeah. So what they ultimately want is phase 6. They want part of the new Gaza trade route deal. And, crazy Trump, he actually allowed Putin to be part of the Gaza peace group. I mean, it's in complete conflict with all the data we had. Do not make a deal, phase 6. Warning. don't make a deal with Iran and Russia for normal relations in exchange for profits from the Abraham Accords, which is the new trade route. They want a piece of that pie in exchange for not killing us right now, but the profits in 2 to 3 years will be used to take us out. So it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to see this for me. I mean, as just someone who's just been fiddling with the data, that this lunatic in the White House is just cost by delaying what everybody knows is that this government has to be dismantled.
It has to be. Everybody knows
It's
this. This is known across the world.
It's a global threat.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's like it's no longer a secret to almost anyone in the world right now. Certainly, world leaders know this across the globe.
So you have this transformation with the Six of Cups, but look at the hopes and fear. Pay me. No money, no honey. That's the Page of Pentacles. They want a contract. They want the deal. Gabriel builds things of this earth. Gabriel is associated with Pentacles, the earth energy. Gabriel is closest to the earth of all the archangels. We channel through Gabriel. Gabriel gives us writing, literature, the building of new ideas. Final outcome cannot be avoided. It is the Fire Horse, Knight of Wands, moving into final outcome. I think the showdown's inevitable.
Yeah, I think so too.
But people are freaking out in Israel, the Christians and the Jews, saying, "Oh, this is the prophesied war between Israel and Iran, the Gog and Magog, and all that crazy stuff." Well, it is looking pretty weird. For if you are if you're someone who looks at biblical history, it's looking a little scary.
Yeah.
Just from that perspective.
From that perspective.
Yeah.
I took encouragement. I got that balance card. I still believe it is going to balance out ultimately.
Well, if he would just agree to leave and forfeit the government to people trying to engage in revolutionary reform, then the supreme leader wouldn't die. He can't stay in power, though. I mean, how would that work? The people, his own people, but he has no support in Iran. He's occupying people that want him out, that are willing to die, that are in prison being tortured to death. No, they don't want these people. They're being held hostage by this religious cult, and I think there's just no way out other than they have to go.
They do.
But then it goes back to that whole idea that Putin doesn't want him there. Like this, he's not friends with Putin, the supreme leader of Iran. It's not like he can go and have hot toddies in Moscow. I mean, look what's happening to Assad. They've attempted to poison him twice. He's getting an icy freeze in Moscow. So I don't know. All right. So, no, that's not what we're doing. Go ahead, Chuck.
Will Stephen Colbert go to YouTube or HBO for future shows? As I was watching that interview today, I thought, I wonder if it's YouTube. That's where he's going. Because I've always felt, I think you have too, Stephen Colbert is going to be fine. He's got another show to go to. And I think maybe streaming services or even YouTube may be the best place for him, where he can really speak his mind in ways he never could on CBS. That interview today was proof of that.
Yeah,
he was almost liberated.
I think YouTube is the future. Bialik went to YouTube.
The Oscars.
Everybody's going to YouTube.
Yeah,
you and I saw the signs and built this a couple years ago. I remember you were talking about how film and TV is just dying in Hollywood. All the actors are running to YouTube now, but it's great. Well, it's the future, but also actors like The Control, because like you get to be a producer and you get to produce your own stuff.
Sure. So that's I am hearing more and more, because I talk to a lot of your people on the phone every day. People are saying they watch very little television. They're watching things like YouTube now, much more so.
Yeah.
And I was amazed when the Oscars, their contract runs out with ABC, I think in 2028, 2029, they're going to make YouTube their new home. So that says a lot right there.
We made a wise decision, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
All right. Good for us.
Yeah. Will the Ukraine-Russia peace talks be successful or a waste of time? Good question, Whimsy.
Well, they say Russia has basically lost, that there were conversations taking place in the Duma where they basically said, we have lost this war.
Well, that's pretty apparent. I mean, their economy is shot, their military is gone. You know what? They've got 14-year-old boys in the military now. They're running out of weaponry. The Ukraine's got the support of the world, much of the world. And we even theorize NATO is going
Yeah.
to be sweeping in for
Yeah.
Ukraine.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
the longer it goes on, it goes back to the 6 phases. The longer it goes on with Putin in trouble, the more people die. In power, the more people die. As long as Putin's in power, more people die. He has to be removed.
Yeah.
Thank God it hasn't turned into nuclear war yet.
Thank
This
God.
is the closest we've gotten to nuclear war since, I think, the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It's frightening when you consider all of those old missiles and silos out in fields where people don't even remember where they are anymore. And that he can have access to that. It's the same fears here with Trump having access to the nuclear codes. Only I've always had the intuitive feeling there are enough people keeping guard on Trump so he doesn't get the nuclear codes. People know how crazy he is, and he cannot be trusted with them.
Do you think that the Donbass will become a oasis zone per Zelensky's recommendations to make it as an oasis zone overseen by an American sector, just like West Germany was an American sector?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's got a point, Zelensky, to make it an oasis zone like West Germany?
Probably does.
Let's
I would trust Zelensky's.
Let's see. I think so.
Yeah.
Either that or they're look. If there's a vested interest in a American sector, a peace zone or an oasis zone that's an American sector, that's basically what helped the economy recover in Germany, in West Germany.
Well, I just put it straight to the pendulum. I'm getting a huge yes on that. I mean, strong yes, without even throwing cards. Yeah.
Here's Zelensky. I always see him as the King of Cups, the peacemaker, hopes and fears, inverted Knight of Cups. There's no negotiation with Putin. There will be nothing accomplished as long as Putin is there.
Yeah.
Does anybody have the balls in Russia right now to remove Putin? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah. We have always said that Putin was eventually going to be just exiled just to a castle or something in Siberia. He would just be put to retirement. But do you think somebody might be planning to take him out? I mean, I know we're not supposed to predict things like death, but do you think people have that intention? Can we ask that sort of question?
Let's take a look. Is Putin safe from assassination attempts by his own people? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Putin's safe. Yeah, I think that's almost a given. I mean, we're not supposed to predict things like a death, but I think that was a good way you phrased the question. Is he safe from this sort of thing? And here we see what I've got.
It feels to me like it's window dressing, like the Duma, like these people in the government. It's their job to say, now, are you sure you can get that done? It's their job to ask those questions, but they have no real power to stop Putin from doing anything. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you while you were reading, but sometimes I'm surprised what comes out. I got the card restriction, and you see the lock, the chains.
Oh,
and despair restrictions.
So you are saying they're going to try find some way of controlling him. That's good.
I'm even wondering. I kind of get like he's being controlled a bit right now, even like he already is under restriction, under lock and key.
Good.
It's kind of like what I was saying about Trump and the nuclear codes. It's like there's enough people in place who are watching over to make sure certain things don't happen or do happen. And I take that to mean he is under restriction now. What are your feelings, Whimsy, with your cards?
It could be his own health, or issues with his own health become the main factor. Archangel Raphael moving into 7th position, issues of health and in conflict with the business of the Donbass regarding issues of smooth water, look at this. He has an addiction also. Addiction to power, addiction to control, and possibly
Ego,
I
narcissism.
feel like heroin over him. Like this guy shoots up heroin. I swear.
Interesting.
It's like he spent a little bit too much time in East Berlin and he learned how to shoot up dirty heroin coming into Berlin or something. I mean, just there's something really
That sounds right.
something there.
Sounds
Like
right to me.
I've always felt like I've always wondered if his supplier wasn't the people that were working for him, like Prigozhin, that they weren't supplying more than just
Yeah.
food service, but they were supplying, maybe drugs or something of that nature to him.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zelensky said last week that Trump is putting more pressure on Ukraine than Russia on the peace talks.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It sounds like Trump.
He just sounds like a total disaster.
Oh,
yeah. And you have to ask yourself, how much longer can this go on before?
I think a lot of us have been asking that. How much longer can this go on?
Oh, they're talking about the song. People were singing the song.
Yeah, I know all the words to this song, and they have changed some of the words. Yeah, from our wonderful Wendy Burt, who created your chapeau, your beautiful hat.
All the pretty little horses. So speaking of children, people are getting really upset about the news that's coming out about children dying in police custody in ICE raids. And now they're publishing the journal and diary letters from the children and telling the testimonies of what they're witnessing. And what it sounds like? It reminds me of the children that drew pictures describing what life was like in the ghetto of Warsaw before they got taken off to Auschwitz to die. I mean, they're saying, children are saying we have no water, or the water tastes bad. We're frightened. We want our mommies. I mean, it's just really, these are like concentration camp testimonies.
Well, they are concentration camps, and ICE is planning to build more. They've got all this money from the big, beautiful bill that they plan to buy warehouses and buildings and turn them into concentration camps. But I've been reading the stories of people who have managed to get out, and they said that it's deplorable. Pregnant women, like 7-8 months pregnant, not getting medical care.
How could we have become the Nazis so quickly?
Yeah,
we've done this stuff before. Look what we did to Native Americans. It's easy for us. Look at our bloody history. Until we own it, we keep repeating it.
I know, and I've heard stories of tuberculosis, measles,
smallpox
outbreaks.
Blankets with the Cherokee.
Yeah, smallpox, people not getting medical care, people living in squalor, not allowed to even bathe, having to eat off the floors. I mean, it's abominable.
This is why we pray. This is why we pray before every session, because there are horrible things going on in the world.
Children being traumatized by this. Children being separated from their parents. No, what are we asking, Whimsy? I'm sorry.
When this is freaking going to end? It has to end. This is, what kind of country are we that we allow this to happen to little babies?
Well, you know what? It's such a
sickies. Like, why are we hurting little babies?
Babies being zip tied.
And if they're and there's a possibility they're American citizens. What the hell are you doing?
Well, they're using that as a ruse, saying they're going after illegal aliens. But the reality is, once they get through these people, they're going to be going after other people, and who knows what that's going to be? What, the gays, the transsexuals?
Well, they're already going over to transgenders.
They already
lots of transgender. That. Oh my God! Let's take a look.
Think the people behind this should be put on trial for crimes against humanity.
I would like the entire world to do something about what's taking place in ICE.
And I sometimes wonder if the world isn't going to step in and do something about this. It's unconscionable. And that's putting it mildly. Just call it unconscionable.
Maybe Chuck and I will go on vacation and not come back. Who knows?
We'll see. No, we're asking, when will this stop?
Yeah.
Your cards are much better for determining time frame. I don't know if I can get anything with what I've got, but I'm going to see. Well,
I'm seeing a lot of angry judges, and I'm seeing,
Yeah.
reuniting of the family, 10 of Cups.
I hope so.
The opposition is financial, so I'm thinking that they could cut funding. I keep seeing funding cut that could
Yeah.
stop it. And look at this, people tied up. That restraint you were talking about.
Yes.
Final
Yeah.
outcome is fighting and conflict over it, and angry judges. You better stop doing what you're doing. Like
Mhm.
they are going against certain rights. But that's also the May card, so we could be seeing conflicts between now and May where it finally comes to an end. But this
Yeah.
is a lot worse than even the horror stories of the Japanese internment camps.
Oh, yes.
What I'm saying, because the Japanese internment camps, the Japanese said they were organized and they were fed. They had McDonald's and Coca-Cola. I mean, they were fed. Nobody went hungry. They weren't. That wasn't the accusations. The accusations were that people were simply interned and they weren't allowed to go home. My mother's housekeeper was one of the people interned, and her and her family went to visit their housekeeper that was locked up.
Really?
Because the Pacific Northwest had a lot of people that had come from Japan and were working, and one of the families that was working
like
for
California also.
was working for my grandmother. That household, they wound up, and my mother remembers that they had tried to visit her in one of the camps.
Yeah.
Just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
What?
How can we treat other human beings like this? Where does this cruelty come from?
It's pretty sad.
Yeah. Will the GOP accept the Democrats' counteroffer for a budget deal? That's.
I don't think they have a choice at this
I
point.
don't think they do either. I think they are.
I heard a bunch of Republicans quit, and they're not even showing up in the House anymore. Like
I've heard
I'm
that.
not going to be renewing my leave.
Oh yeah,
for
they're
my
already the
Airbnb.
rats are abandoning. The rats are
I'm
abandoning.
go ahead and back to Texas. Like a lot of people just left. They're not there at all.
Oh, they know it's over. They already know it's over.
Given the fact that they can't. So there's the question I would say to the audience about Trump. Trump already is a lame duck. If they can't get Democrats to show up or Republicans to show up to vote, and it looks like all the Democrats are showing up, but the Republicans are just not like, you know what, I slept in today. Then you've basically lost the House, haven't you?
I think
that
so.
What's happened, Chuck?
That's what it feels like to me. They've already lost the House.
Well, they only had 3 houses, so they can't. They only look. Macy is enemies. You've also got Republicans that are out war with this administration. So that's why I just don't know if Trump's going to be able to get anything passed.
Oh, I don't think so. It's over. He is such a lame duck right now. But I mean, I'm thinking back to like even a couple of years ago, and we were doing readings on this, and we were seeing the demise of the Republican Party. Maybe not the complete obliteration of the party, but pretty close to it, really bad. And I was wondering when it was going to happen, and it's happening. They know it. So yeah, I think the Democrats' counteroffer probably has a very good chance of going through because
some cards.
They can't afford another government shutdown.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Whoa, I like what I got here. You know, this is where I hope I'm really, really right. But I mean, I'm not even going to read further. I got gifts, new beginnings, and victory. I hope I'm right.
Yeah, I got the world, which is very auspicious, and fighting in the House of Opposition. The Republicans are fighting amongst themselves. They've gone down. Here it is, the Constitution again. I always read Hierophant as the higher ethos or Constitution of the nation. 8 of Swords. They're complete. We have a stranglehold. They don't have. They're not in control of the House. They've already lost the House.
Quite apparent. Quite apparent.
Do you feel bad about that for them, Chuck?
Oh, my heart bleeds for them.
I figured it did. I know how loving. You're a very loving man that way.
Big, very facetious.
That's right.
God, no, they they brought this on themselves.
Yeah. So do you think though that we have just gotten too contentious in the United States when it comes to politics? I mean, I don't like us saying this person's not a good American or something. I don't like the way it's gotten really dirty. Politics has gotten even dirtier than it used to be.
Yeah. A lot. I mean, we've never seen anything like this in our lifetimes. And you and I have been around for a few decades now. And, Whimsy, I'm seeing here in the comments that people are having trouble with YouTube right now. I didn't know if you were reading that also.
Oh, what kind of trouble are they having?
Let me see. Let's see. Rose Blue here said YouTube has gone offline. We see you, but once you leave, it's gone. Let's see. Someone said, Joel, can you ask Whimsy if she sees any diagnostics about YouTube being down? I don't know. Maybe it's just YouTube itself being down right now. I don't know.
But once you leave, it's gone. What do you mean once it leaves you?
I don't understand that myself. I was just reading the comment there. But
we have 429 people here.
Yeah, so hopefully it's okay. Oh yeah. Oh, let's see. Crafting and Conjuring said I can't open the main page. Someone else said I'm having no YouTube in Northwest Ohio.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
they said the app is down. The app
maybe
is
that's what it is. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe you have to. But we're still going strong. We have almost 440 people here.
Here is something, Joyce, our beloved Joyce Petrus, and by the way, she and I are going to talk tomorrow. Hopefully we can get everything set up and we can get her on the show. But she said here, I'm guessing YouTube is under attack. You think that's possible?
Yeah, we're always getting, it's always.
Yeah.
Ad blocker, what's that? My YouTube for the moment, I'm not using app and had trouble. App issues in Portland too. YouTube down in Washington. Let's see. Let me just check my my stuff and see how it's going. I'm sorry, you guys. Nope, we're not seeing problems on our end.
Okay.
So it has to. It's not our stream. Our stream is still going strong.
Yeah.
Could you know what happens is that sometimes these apps have glitches. Sometimes they can be gone for an hour. Sometimes they can be gone.
I think there's a lot of paranoia because, frankly, of Trump. That's been brought up here, and even what happened with that Stephen Colbert interview.
Yeah, it looks like we're beautiful live. Good. Crystal clear from what I see here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry that the thing is not working. I don't know how to advise on that. All right. We also want to say hi to everybody over at. Oh, it's having problems in Kentucky. Interesting. Teresa Watts over at Facebook. Well, you could always watch from Facebook. You know, because we are airing on. If your YouTube is down, then try going to Oracle of Whimsy Facebook page, and there's a link there, and you can get on through, because I always post, or Oracle of Whimsy on X. Hello to everybody over at X.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what all of our platforms are. X,
Facebook,
YouTube,
X, and YouTube, and then we put our shorts up on the other platforms,
like Instagram, for example.
Instagram and TikTok. Yeah. Well, Chuck, it's the witching hour.
This is the witching hour, huh?
Yeah. Did you have fun?
I had fun.
Are you ready
to
welcome Cat Cook?
I've got to stop this interview. Hold on. Whoa. It's nice to meet you both. It's nice to see you.
Oh,
yeah. That's our interview. Okay, hold on. Oops.
I'm thinking of the galloping fire horse. The interview was going out the gate before it was supposed to start. But
so that's our interview. You know,
we
Chuck,
had a lot of fun this morning with Kat.
Yeah, you know, once that interview starts popping, you'll be done, Chucky Poo. It'll be.
Will I be done?
Yeah, because you're going to be knocked off. You're going to be, I mean, you won't be able to talk because, yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. We've got a good interview. I think the people are going to love Kat Cook, and her book is fabulous. And you and I just loved chatting with her today.
Yeah, we did. All right. So thank you, everybody,
you.
for being here. And Chuck and I want to thank you as well.
Very much
And
so.
enjoy the interview with Kat Cook.
Energy I felt when I read your book.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So let's start the interview by you telling us a little bit. I was really struck by some of what you wrote, and I'll go ahead and let you fill it in. But talk a little bit about why you decided to call it rainbow weather and the symbolism of rainbow weather, because you said some very profound things about that, and it really spoke to me. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So, well, first of all, I experienced a lot of rainbows when I lived in Ireland. Pretty much multiple times a week in all seasons. I lived right by the coast and we had a lot of storms that would come in and out. And so, yeah, rainbow weather just became the norm, you know, and I talk about it in the book. Like I could literally like feel it when it was about to happen. And then I also, I think probably for the first time in my life, experienced what I call emotional rainbow weather. So that's when you're laughing and crying at the same time. Like something about the situation makes you cry and then laugh, and then suddenly it's all happening together. And it's a really cool feeling, actually.
It's a feeling of being healed, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a feel of just being so profoundly human. So those two things kind of inspired the title.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
You know, Whimsy and I are on the same wavelength here, because I was going to ask you how to describe your book emotionally and not just literally, but I think you just did it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, why don't you take us back to the moment before you left for Ireland? What was happening in your life and what were you hoping was going to change?
Well, so I'd never traveled alone internationally before. It was going to be like my first trip. And honestly, my friend Tim says it the best. He was like, it was almost as if Ireland like rolled out the red carpet for you before you went.
Yeah.
Like I had massive synchronicity. Like I was just personally excited to be going on this trip. It was like a dream trip. And then and then like I just started talking to people about it. And then everybody else was excited about Ireland. They had stories of their time there, or a friend who had been who loved it. And then I was getting all these invites to like go hang out with somebody's like aunt or mother or an old friend. And so it just felt, I think it's like one of the most beautifully positive synchronistic experiences of my life. It just like felt like all this momentum was building up, getting me to go to the country.
Great
So I
synchronicity
was
thing.
just super excited. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you first arrived in West Cork, what did it feel like? What did you see, hear, or smell? I want viewers to get your perspective as you described it in your book.
That's a good one. Okay. So I think like one of the things that really made me laugh was there's some very thick accents in Cork County. And I also write about this in the book. I was woofing. So I was doing, they call it worldwide opportunities on organic farms. So I was volunteering in exchange for room and board on an island just off the coast of County Cork called Shirkin Island. And on the way back to the mainland after my time had finished there, I heard these two elderly gentlemen speaking, and I couldn't figure out what language they were speaking. I thought it was like Eastern European, honestly. And then I just tried to like calm my ears and listen. And all of a sudden, I could hear that they were actually speaking English, but their accents were so thick, you couldn't tell at first. But then once you heard it, you could like follow the thread, you know?
Yeah.
And I think like West Cork, the light in West Cork is just amazing. Like the smell of the sea, the color of the sea is always changing. There's so many wildflowers, and I don't know. It does feel like, I think even to this day, it's kind of like going back in time a little bit,
Hmm.
where is slower, like people have a different like
Hmm.
sentiment about them. And it just feels like, yeah, going back in time a little bit.
Mm.
I just remember I broke down and had red meat in Limerick. It was Sunday, and we were waiting for a train to go to Cork, and we had an hour and a half to kill. And I said, it's Sunday. Let's go into a pub. And oh my gosh,
Nice.
we had it had the pudding, those pudding things, and I was there with Ursula, and we had to wolf it down to make the train. And I remembered, and people were having it with like Guinness and stuff. And I don't drink. We had ended up having Coke or something. But I remember thinking, this is the most delicious thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. I wouldn't. I mean, the food is really meat and potatoes. The way that, was it hard for you to adjust to just life there? The food, the diet, the worldview. What would you say was the hardest thing for you to get used to about life in that part of the world?
Well, it wasn't the food. I think like where I was in West Cork, there's quite a foodie culture. So I think it might be a bit different in Limerick, or I don't know when you traveled there, but Ireland has come a long way with food.
Mhm.
And so there was like quite a bit of amazing food, but I did really miss people look at you funny if you ask for canned pumpkin. They're like, excuse me? I was like, yeah, I'm just thinking I wanted to make a pumpkin pie for my first Thanksgiving there for my friends. And I went to the grocery store, I went to multiple places. And the first thing was like, what are you saying? And the second one was like, gross. Like people just like were grossed out by the idea of canned pumpkin. But honestly, I think one of the hardest things, I talk about this in the book a lot, is how small it can be there. It's just very, um, it's just a very different culture and very small town. So there's a lot of gossip. There's a lot of like people telling stories about another person that you've never met. And suddenly you've heard all these
Mhm.
stories about a person you've never met. And then you meet them and you're like, okay, I'm trying to keep an open mind here.
You're reminding me of my mother. My mother was a big gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, I mean, it does have beautiful sides to it and like
Uh-huh.
sort of like a community aspect, but sometimes it was tough. And there's a story in my book called How Small is Small, and it's about
Yes.
that. It's about
Yeah.
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 that was a big challenge for me there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got that. Also, Sheila and the wedding, like talking about how you kind of have to integrate. It's kind of like everything is kind of already set, isn't it? It's kind of like you get thrown in mid-act. That's kind of how
Yeah.
I see your book. Like I see your stories as this is the scene, and in walks this new character, which is you, and then you kind of have to adjust. And that's kind of the humor of the book, I think. Could you speak
Mhm.
a little bit about like what did it feel like to walk in mid-act, like in the middle of these stories, these relationships, and have to just start from the beginning? I don't know. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I'm thinking my brain is like spider webbing. It's going different ways. So
Mhm.
in some ways the Irish are really welcoming, and so it's easy in some ways to just like pop in and like you're a part of the action. And
Right, right.
there's a lot of welcoming for foreign people, especially when you're traveling through. Um, but I think it was the first time in my adult life, and this was a challenge for me as well, where I didn't go to a place like in a program or a school or anything like that. So I just went because I loved it. I had a couple of friends already, but now I'm an adult and I've come into this new community. And making friends just takes a little while, Like I'm good at connecting with people but making really, really good friends that like you can talk
Yeah.
to, it takes a while. And it's usually easier when you have yeah, some kind of program or something that you're involved
Mhm.
in. So, yeah, I think that was the first time in my adult life where I
Yeah.
experienced that. It's like, oh, everybody's busy. They're working. They've got stuff to do. And I'm a newbie that's like, hey.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Well, your book is filled with encounters with locals. Is there one person you met who deeply shaped your journey?
For sure. For sure. I think
I agree.
there's multiple people. I think my friend Bernie, she was a
Hmm.
huge influence.
Yeah.
She's still in Bantry. She owns a really amazing craft shop called Forest and Flock. And if you ever find yourself in West Cork and Bantry, like it is just so beautiful. It is like
Yeah.
her imagination come to life. So
Mm.
she was a big part of my journey there. And then my friend Sheila was a big part of my journey as
Hmm.
well. And then my friend Kian was also
I love the name. I love that name, Kian.
was also a big part of my journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Further in the book, can you talk a little bit about the idea of conflicting cultures and conflicting beliefs? That was another thing that I kind of noted, where something can be assumed. If you go into a culture where people grow up with and they assume certain things to be true,
Hmm.
and you have assumed things are true based on how you grew up. Like I'm here in Portland, Oregon. I was born and raised in Bremerton, Washington. I am of the waters of the Pacific. I am the salmon of the Pacific. And what I feel when I go into this is that some things are set and they will not change. Certain beliefs are set and they will not
Yeah.
change. Whether it's how we feel about our salmon and our berries, there's nothing wrong with eating salmon and berries together. Like it just if you're not from here, it's just creepy. I'm not going to put berries on, right? So there are certain things that are just set in the culture and certain things that are set here. Did you ever feel like that was really impossible to live with? Like that they wouldn't bend on certain things, like
Yeah,
relationships?
yeah. Like so
That
the relationships piece is a big one because as an American, we can be as Americans, we can be relatively direct. I mean, not as direct as Germans. Germans are really direct, I've come to learn. But we're direct, and in Ireland, the culture just is not like that. So it's off-putting to people, or it they sometimes feel put in a strange position if you are just say like, "Hey, what's going on? Can we talk about this?" It's like
right.
that just like no. So there's all these kind of roundabout ways in which you maybe will come to some kind of resolution with another human being.
Mhm.
Um,
So they're
uh,
very sensitive, I think, to the what I took away from it, and correct me if I'm just misinterpreting, but what I took away from it was an unbelievable sensitivity to the emotional states of other people.
that is very true. Like I remember one time going into the Stuffed Olive and my friend Madge was working and I was in a bad mood. And she like I could tell that she was feeling me, and I was like, whoa, okay, so like we're having this like experience of really feeling each other. Whereas like a lot of times I feel like in the States, if you like go into a Starbucks or something, people aren't as phased by it, they're
Yeah.
just not as phased by your mood. It doesn't seem to touch into them as deeply. Um, but the Irish definitely feel to me, my experience of them is they're very community oriented and like
Yeah.
we oriented. And so and Americans tend to be a little more, well, I think it probably depends where you're from and, just also how you've grown up and how you've changed. But there's a lot of independence in American culture and like selfhood.
Mhm.
So I felt like those two things like rubbed together sometimes, where
Yeah.
it was just like um, a learning experience, basically, to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kat, themes like gratitude, awe, synchronicity show up throughout your stories. Could you talk about how those things are significant for you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like there's always been some part of me that sees the little moments of beauty in life
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and really gets a lot out of those moments. And I also feel like as the world gets more and more challenging,
Hmm.
being in touch, well, that's what it feels like. Where it feels like the world's going crazy. Like, but um,
Hmm.
but I think it feels really important to me to keep in touch with beauty, with gratitude, with things that are going well, so that you are resourced inside to be able to meet the challenges and what's see how you can actually change things for the better. But plus it's just fun, you know, like it's
Mhm.
just nice sometimes just to enjoy life and
Yes.
to be touched by life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that is one thing Ireland really taught me is to come into the present moment more. And sometimes things work out better than you could have planned.
Oh,
And uh,
I love your
and
answers.
and to go with the flow of life. Uh, there's so much intelligence in that. Sometimes I don't know. I also like to plan and make things happen and stuff. I feel like I wrote about it in the book. I'm 50-50. I'm like half plan, half go with the flow.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just feel like that's one of the beautiful things about Ireland. And it's one of the things that changed me and shaped me. Yeah.
Mm.
Pat, would you do us the honor of
Yes,
reading a
please.
portion of your book for us? We would really love to hear the author read from your book, if
Sh-
possible.
Sure.
And tell
Do you
us
have?
also, although many of us have purchased, we'd like to be able to follow along. Can you tell us what page you'll be reading from?
Sure. Well, I have a story, but do you have a request? Because I'm
Well, I really got struck, but it was the first question I had asked was the meaning of the rainbow weather. I also really liked some of the romantic stories, you know, just the people like Johnny. The fact that I mean, man, these men are kind of sexy. I mean, like the way that they flirt and they're friends for life, and that's I was really intrigued in general just by that. That's
Mhm.
why I'd asked you about the human interactions
Mhm.
because it is different, the relationships between men and women, the relationships between families, the interpersonal
yeah,
relationships,
Mhm.
I'm struck in so many scenes that you seem to walk into
Mhm.
pre-existing stories that are very
mhm.
old.
Yeah, yeah,
Like the
yeah,
Mhm.
pubs and the
yeah,
shops and the, you know, families that had known each other for generations. It's
yeah,
that kind of a feeling in this book, and
Very much
so
so.
you have walked into not just a place, but a world,
yeah, yeah,
and a world that's multi-generational, and there's a set
yeah,
way of doing things. That's
yeah,
kind of like
Mhm.
and you have you know, and you can't go into a place like that and demand that it change.
yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that is going through my head as I
Mhm.
read this book.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was very
The
much a
stone on
vicarious
the
experience.
hill, like, what the hell? It's a damn stone on a hill, but everything like, we could maybe read that one on page 23, that was kind of what I was looking at today,
okay.
but it was just this I mean, that's what blows me away about the entire book, is that idea that
Yeah.
everything, because it's so ancient, has a story, and we just don't
Mhm.
have that in Portland, Oregon. We're
Yeah,
starting to get that. Oh, the mansion on the hill. We're starting to get that, but every rock, every stone
Mhm.
seemed to have a story.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
know. Is that true, Kat? How do you feel?
yeah, yeah, I do. I feel like that is very true. The memory is deep and long, and Irish
Mhm.
people don't forget.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I mean, I do feel like things are starting to shift and change. Like, I feel like that kind of sometimes it feels like a stuck energy almost, because
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if it's not for the benefit of everyone, it's still like, you know,
Mhm.
one of my friends once said, but you know, that's like a big survival mechanism. It's like, you took my land, but I'm still here, you know? So like this kind of stubbornness undercurrent in the
Mhm.
Irish,
Like,
and in me.
it's like the joke about the cook that quit because they wanted curry, right? It's like the joke that when they started to bring curry or to do curry pies, there were people that quit and walked out. But now you go to pubs, it's no problem. You can get curry.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
this, right? I mean, like,
yeah.
oh, and you can get They used to fight against the vegetarian. And what I felt when I was in Limerick
Yeah.
was we're the last stronghold. You know, like, we're the last. I was just there in I think April that we were there. It was
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
beautiful,
cool.
beautiful. But
Mhm.
it was so loud getting off the station in Limerick. We could hear the screaming, and it's like we're the fighting Irish. You can hear it. You can hear us before you see us. And you go to the pub and there's no curry on the menu.
Oh.
There's no, it's meat, but no vegetarian. You're gonna eat the damn meat. Whoa, this is Ireland,
That's funny.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So the stone on the hill, the
Mhm.
stone sat on the hilltop like a beacon. That's what I mean. It's just every damn stone had a story, and
Mhm.
we're sticking to it. And
Yeah.
I love that. I loved that. I loved that about the experience, and I love that about the book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, so if you could pick anything, that was just what I
Please.
fell on, but anything that speaks to you would be lovely.
I agree.
Okay. Well, I think, what inspired me to write the book was those amazing synchronistic connections where I'm just like, how is this happening? This is crazy. How am I meeting this person who knows this person and I'm a foreigner? This is wild. So I might read Sheila and the Standing Stone on
Oh,
page 34.
that's a perfect combination. We're just talking about Sheila and the Standing
Yeah.
Stones. On
Okay.
page 34?
Page
Yeah.
34.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right.
Yeah, 34. Okay. Sheila and the Standing Stone. There is something so beautiful and mysterious about standing stones, don't you think? Always a story to be discovered and some peace to be found. But I didn't realize how magic they could be until one beautiful afternoon after my second retreat to Ireland, when my friend Sheila and I went for a mini adventure. We loved mini adventures. Our aim? Get in the car and follow our intuition until we found something cool. Little did we know the strange series of events that would soon unfold. And this is before I actually moved to the country. This is the summer before I moved to the country that this happened, and it's part of what inspired me to move over there.
Mhm.
Whoa, look at that stone, Sheila exclaimed as we rounded a bend on one of the many twisting back roads of West Cork. And her exclamation was on point. There, sitting on a hill, stood both a tall and very wide standing stone, illuminated by the setting sun. As our car crept along like a stalker, I began to wonder, how did that stone come to be in that field out in the middle of nowhere? Casually, as if reading my mind, Sheila said, "Let's go ask the farmer about it." And because I so wanted to, and Sheila was a local, I thought, why not? Yeah, let's. We drove up the dirt tracked driveway and into a small cattle yard just in time to see the farmer and some 15 cows come in from the fields beyond. Good timing. After a friendly but somewhat suspicious greeting from the farmer upon our unexpected arrival, he asked us to wait while he finished up with the cows. Our tennis shoes wandered around the mucky dirt as we waited. I spotted a few horseshoes up on the wall of his barn. It's a tradition here in Ireland to place horseshoes with the opening facing up, like a U, to catch good luck and abundance. When the last cow was secured, just as promised, our mysterious farmer came towards us and began a conversation that blew, and still does blow, my mind. First, it turns out the standing stone was a mystery, even to experts. The University of Cork had been out to investigate. They measured its dimension, mapped its location, and added it to their data of the many Neolithic monuments of the area. But no conclusion as to what it was used for or who brought it there had been made. As our conversation wound through many topics, including this beautiful mystery of a stone, it was discovered that the farmer, Martin, grew up in Ahakista. That's where Sheila grew up too. Turns out Sheila was good friends with one of Martin's sisters called Caroline. It's always a lovely and relieving moment for many Irish people when you can place your connections to one another. This whole experience was just so magical for me that in the privacy of my own mind, I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if I too was somehow connected to this man? The likelihood seemed slim. The conversation continued, and the sun slowly began to make its way down toward the horizon. Martin spoke more about the standing stone, about his farm, and then about his other siblings. When he mentioned a sister that lived in the US and ran retreats in Durrus, my ears perked up. To this day, I remember the sensation of that moment. It was as if a rusty cog in my brain slowly, painfully began to turn, trying to dig up a memory or something related to what Martin was saying. Luckily, this cog continued its circular movements, and I had the clarity to pull out my phone. The battery was at 2%. I struggled to open Facebook, pulling from the one bar of reception I was getting, and finally managed to find what I was looking for, a Facebook profile of one of my friends. "Is this your sister?" I asked. "Why, yes, it is," Martin said. My phone died, and Sheila and I both screamed with excitement. It turns out this woman, Marian, and Martin's other sister, had contacted me ages ago. She somehow found my Retreat to Ireland website and got in touch saying she was doing retreats on the Sheep's Head too, and that we should connect. And so we became Facebook friends, but had never met in person. Yet here I was, speaking to her brother, the guardian of the Standing Stone.
Mm.
Should I keep going?
Yes.
Please. Oh, please complete this. It's
Please,
wonderful.
go ahead. Yes, we're. But this is what I meant by this. But please, yes.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Sheila and I were buzzing. We headed back to the farmyard, and in my excitement, I asked Martin if, by any chance, I could have one of his horseshoes. The experience of meeting him and all the synchronicities felt so beautiful and lucky that I wanted something to remember it all by. I'd been looking for a horseshoe to add to my own back home in the States for the last couple of weeks, but had been waiting for just the right fit. And bless that man, he gave me one. I have it to this day. But the adventure didn't end there, my friends. No, no, no. We headed into Bantry Town to get a bite to eat. The sun had almost completely set by now, and we were ravenous. We stepped into Wharton's, a brightly lit fish and chip shop, and hungrily ate our cod and chips and mushy peas, musing over our adventure. What a day. Then we stepped back into the night, intending to get in the car and head home. But life had other plans. We ran into an acquaintance of Sheila's who was with his friend. They were heading into Ma Murphy's for a pint and invited us along. This was the beginning of a friendship for me, but I had no idea at the time. The man who was with Sheila's friend was called Cian. And because of another few magic encounters with him, which I'll save for another story, Cian became one of my closest friends for a while in Ireland. The next day, Sheila got a text from Caroline. Remember Caroline? The sister Sheila knew through Martin the farmer? Caroline messaged knowing nothing of what had happened the day before. She said that she was in a taxi at the Dublin airport and got to chatting with the cabbie. He asked her where she was from, and when she said Ahakista on the Sheep's Head, he paused. "Funny," he said. "I had a woman in here right before you. She was from Seattle and was just down in Ahakista at a yoga retreat." Sheila and I screamed for the second time in the last 24 hours. Retreat to Ireland 2014 had just ended, and we knew it was one of our participants. Sheila busied herself with texting Caroline back to give her the full story of magic that had unfolded in the last day, and I let my mind float back to the Standing Stone in Martin's Field. Incorporated into a stone wall with a little hawthorn tree planted beside it, its sheer size still blowing my mind, the memory of the sun illuminating it as it set. Back then, and even now I'd say, Ireland seemed a truly magical place, where the veil between your own thoughts and reality was thin, and events that seemed only to belong in whimsical novels took place in real life. Standing Stone, Martin, Caroline, Marian, Cian, they all became connected that fine summer's day. This experience built more momentum in my mind and heart towards moving to Ireland. I wanted to experience more magic like this.
Wonderful. Wow.
I hope you're doing the audiobook. Because your joy, your passion comes through when you read.
You.
I would love to hear you do the whole audiobook.
Yeah.
It's in the cards for the future for sure.
Good.
Wow. Well, thank you everyone who has enjoyed listening to Cat Cook as she cook. Matt Cook. I'm still working. Cat Cook. I'm still working on that. As she reads from her amazing collection of short stories about West Cork rainbow weather. And of course, if you would like to get a copy of Kat's amazing work, you can check it out at Amazon, and
Yes.
you'll absolutely love it. We would like to also announce that for the end of February and March, we have selected another winner. Chuck and I's Taco Tuesday Book of the Month Club. And for our next selection for March, our selection is the Kingsman's Gold. The Kingsman Gold has been selected for our late February March read. And of course, it was written by an A.L. Stoneman investigation. C.E. Flores. C.E. Flores, congratulations. Your book has been selected. And of course, Chuck and I receive hundreds of people who request to have us review. And while we can't accept every book, we do look at them. So please consider sending your book to us, care of Dr. Whimsy Anderson at 1819 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon. Zip code 97201. And who knows, maybe your book will be selected for our Book of the Month Club. Stay where you are, everybody. Chuck, please tell everybody how they can reach you if they'd like to get a read.
Well, if you want to reach me, it's just dransfieldchuck@gmail.com. Shoot me a message. It's always my honor to do a reading for you, create a piece of artwork for you. And also, I have my channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles, and a chat show on Mondays, Chuck's Captivating Chat, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And Whimsy?
And me, if you'd like to have a medical consult, intuitive consult with me, you can book me through Booksy. All the information is below this video. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.